Hey, everybody. Hey, happy Thanksgiving. It's been a week or so, I think almost a week and a half since I've done my last podcast. And figured I'd get it cranked back up a little bit. So, but anyway, happy Thanksgiving. It's amazing. We are into almost the end of 2020, right? And I think a lot of us are hoping that, I guess we limp across the line. But yeah, so what do we have to be thankful for? It's Thanksgiving. I think, for the most part, if you're healthy and your family's healthy and you haven't been affected too much by this pandemic, the good old COVID-19 or whatever you want to call it, the plague, the inconvenience, whatever it is, that's one thing to obviously be thankful for. And then, there's just a lot that goes on in life, right? And, as we make this journey, and these are some of the things I kind of try to reflect on, is that, so you think about 2020, right? It starts off, we all know it's going to be a crazy year because of the election year. We had all that stuff going on. Economy was booming, jobs were great. And then obviously comes along. I remember it because I flew out of San Francisco. I think it was May 17th, 18th, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I think the very next day, the state of California shut down. And then it obviously just, the bottom fell out from there. And, so just a lot of stuff, happening. And so, again, I think, one of the things that thankful for is my son was, ended up college is not being, one of the things that, I think is, he didn't really, I think put some effort into it or whatever, and just wasn't his thing. I mean, school's not for everybody, not to get into political debate around college and the supposed what Biden's going to do when he comes into office or whatever, but I find that college is not for everybody. My dad, when I was growing up, my dad would tell me that, the world needs ditch diggers just like they do, they need rocket scientists. So my son, is getting ready to go. He's going to go in the Air Force and serve our country. Very proud of him for doing that. My daughter's a junior. Obviously, some school stuff, last year as a sophomore. Tail end of that from home. This year, it's been a little bit on and off, depending on if students have had COVID or any related incidences there. But I will say that during this pandemic, one thing that I found out, and just talking to a lot of people, is how much time they've been able to spend at home and with their families. Interacting with your kids, more dinners at home, more interaction. Yeah, it can be challenging. I think a lot of parents are realizing that, schools do play a role in how they help our society. I still don't believe teachers and the schools are responsible for raising our kids. They're there to educate them and to, give them a foundation for future endeavors. But I think a lot of parents are having to realize that, parenting is not easy, right? It's not for the faint of heart. There are many people, unfortunately, that just pump out kids and either live off the system or just basically either abandon the kids and let them grow up on their own, or force the kids onto the school system and expect the school system to take care of them or whoever, and don't really become a responsible adult and, take care of your kids. But as I talk about giving thanks and this responsibility of our lives, you got to be thankful for the things that you do have. Whether they're little things, big things, or whatever, I'm thankful because, during this pandemic, our business, the business I'm in, big data and consumer insights and research, it's booming. People want to know what's going on. Consumer shoppers have changed their patterns, have changed buying practices. Obviously, that's e-commerce for those folks that don't know what that means. E-commerce is, obviously shopping online. I'm sure, there's many memes out there on Facebook and other places where you see Amazon packages showing up, and it's like, drinking wine and ordering from Amazon is not a good combination. So yeah, my business has been booming. I mean, I literally this year have been probably the busiest I've ever been for work. Just a lot of stuff going on, trying to keep all the wheels in motion. And it's crazy. I mean, there's expectations at work, and like I said, we're booming. And then I've talked to others where, obviously this is hurt. I mean, look at the restaurant industry. I think they're talking to like 50% of the restaurants, maybe even more, have, gone out of business since this whole pandemic's happened. And, and we're a huge country that relies on service industry. So think about all those ball games and stuff like that, and restaurants that thrive around downtowns and stuff like that. And when they get shut down for a period of time, and there's no revenue stream coming in, and the government funding and stuff that's there to kind of help support a little bit of that is gone and starts drying up. These businesses can't survive, and so when I talk about Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for where I'm at because, I do have a good job and very thankful for that. And I do work hard for it. And just happen to be in an industry that's, booming around this. But I know some folks that are struggling, and it's, it's very frustrating. Our Congress can't seem to figure it out. And again, you've heard me rant before because both sides are just so hateful for one another that you can't even have a conversation. And to try to help these folks out, and I feel bad because a lot of this stuff's getting ready to end at the first of the year. You got a whole new administration and stuff coming in. It's going to take time for them to get up and running, and it's a scary thought because if you read, pardon me, a little late in the evening. It's been a couple rough days here with Thanksgiving, but if you read a lot of the articles, especially Wall Street Journal and some others, there's a lot of foreclosures. There's the enactment bill where they passed to, stop banks and places from foreclosing or, eviction notices and stuff to people. That's going to start picking up after the first of the year. And, that's going to put a lot of pressure on the society, on our government. And it's not good. I mean, I think we all want this to be gone. I mean, we want to get back to some sense of normalcy, and what is normal actually going to look like down the road? And that's something that, we're being asked all the time, like what's going to, what we're looking at. And again, I think a lot of things we have to be, again, I'm all over the board here a little bit, but it's more about being thankful. Be thankful that you have your health, if you have your health and your family, and hopefully you do. Just that alone, if you have a job and you're doing okay, that's great. That's something to be thankful for. The other thing is it can always be worse, right? It can always be better, but it can always be worse. So you have to take whatever you can and run with it and make the best of it. And so those are things to be thankful for, and, take solace in, your friends, your family, and enjoy your life, because life is short. And that's one thing that I'm figuring out. I have, like I said, been very thankful and doing some crazy stuff here at 53 years old, trying to explore life. I'm going to talk about that probably down the road, but making a pretty good sized purchase, but I'm going to buy a motorcycle, and something I haven't rode in over 20 years, and but it's an adventure motorcycle, and I plan on doing some trips and seeing the rest of the U.S. or seeing the country more through the eyes of a motorcycle, and I think it's going to be fun. And I talked about this on Long Way Up. I think I talked to you about the Apple series, Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman, and the Long Way Around, Long Way Down, and Long Way Up. It kind of inspired me and to do something different. You know, I've had this YouTube channel, haven't been able to travel much. Obviously, planes and all that stuff is going to change, and I figured I'll take the show on the road and do it, you know, on a motorcycle and do some things and get out of my comfort zone. And I'm thankful that I'm going to be able to do that because, knock on wood, like I said, I have a job and things are good, and I want to explore life. Like I said, my son's getting ready to go in the military. My daughter and my ex, we, you know, kind of just trade out the days and stuff that we need, and gives me a little bit more flexibility. For the last 10 years, for anybody that I think I've talked to on here, I mean, my son played travel ball. We played all over the country, and that, you know, and then just baseball in general for the last 14 years or whatever, since he was 5, you know, I've spent, you know, basically every summer. And most of my vacations and stuff over the last 10 plus years have been all on baseball. And I just really am, you know, thinking about all that stuff. And so, yeah, I'm pretty geeked up about it. And so, again, thankful for that. Thankful that my daughter, I think I've spoken to you guys about this. If you've caught me in the past, you know, she has special needs, and she's had you know, for all this COVID stuff going around, and she has some issues around some vomiting things and some cyclic vomiting. And when she gets sick, and, you know, knock on wood, she hasn't experienced that, haven't had to go to the hospital with her. Again, just very thankful for a lot of those things. And you know, it's 2020, and, you know, we can complain. I guess the old adage was, my dad would say, bitch, gripe, and moan. You can do that all day long, but it doesn't get you anywhere. I get caught up into that. I think we all do. We're all kind of pent up at home, Zoom and team calls, one after the other if you're working, and it just gets old. And feel like you're trapped in your house, and it's just nice to get out and socialize and talk to someone, and yet we're still behind a mask, and you can't understand people. And if you don't wear the mask, and you're like the evil empire, and those that don't want to wear the mask calling the other ones the evil empire, and it's like, oh my God, folks, just calm everybody down. Everybody's so on edge, everybody's so uptight, and just need to take a chill pill. So I even have to tell myself that sometimes, and other people have to tell me, because I am type A, maybe triple A, stressed and driven. But sometimes you just have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. And again, that's what you have to be thankful for. You have to be able to look at that bigger picture, understand things, and understand yourself and where you're at. And again, it's like self-reflection. It's like we're coming up on another new year. We'll all probably go out there and say we're going to do this or we're going to do that and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, we do some of it, none of it, all of it, whatever it is. But you have to have a little bit of kind of self-reflection, give thanks for what you do have. You know, everybody's got their battles in their lives. Everybody has their struggles. Whether you have no money or you're, you know, multimillionaire, everybody's got their struggles. It's all scale of economy. I've told other people this, that, you know, it's not about how much money you make, because the problems just become exponential from that point on, right? You know, like, you know, if you don't make much money and you're struggling to make a car payment or rent or whatever like that, it might not be that different from somebody who's making a $500,000 a year because they might be living in a $1 million home and they've got $100,000 vehicles and, and they got to furnish $1 million home or whatever. And, they've got bills and they've got stuff going on, and it's just scale of economy. And so again, I think it's just, when you look back at 2020, it's really just a drag on everything. And then obviously we had the election. That thing is still, quote unquote, not finalized, but it's finalized. I was I'm a Trump supporter, more so a Republican than I am a Trump supporter. I think he could have done some different things. They all can. And I've stated all that stuff. And then, so Biden, hey, they're going to certify it. He's going to be the new president, and he's going to have his new administration coming in. And I hope it's not as radical socialist agenda it is. It looks like it's ramping up that way. I'm afraid of the taxes. Everybody's like, oh, he's only going to tax the rich at $400,000. Well, no, you need to dig into it, because he's going to get into Social Security tax more there. You're looking at your taxes on your 401k, and there's some changes to a lot of the tax code stuff around inheritance and stuff like that. And anytime you raise taxes, it doesn't matter. If you raise taxes on the wealthy, whoop-de-doo. Most of them own the companies. So whether he taxes Walmart more, well, what do you think Walmart's going to do? They're going to raise the prices. And that affects you and I as a consumer. So if you think it's they're only going to tax the 400,000 and above folks, well, guess what? That might be true, but it's going to impact everything else, because again, these corporations are still going to make their money. And what are they going to do? They're just going to take the pricing up. So, that soft drink you're drinking is going to go up in price. The chips are going to go up in price. The cattle's going to go up in price. Milk's going to go up in price. So when you look at all that, be cognizant of those things. And that's what I say. I look more at the policies than I do anything else. And again, being thankful for what we've had over the last few years with lower taxes and everything else, it does concern me a little bit going into next year, what our tax rates are going to be and what's it going to look like next year. It might get a little tighter, and, we'll all have to deal with that. So, pardon me, took a little drink of water here. And, so I just get back, give thanks. I know people have passed away this year. I had a high school classmate that I realized, about a week or so ago passed away. His wife was also in our class, and very sad moments. So 2020 will always be a rough year for everybody just because of what's happened, but it's rougher in some than others. And that's why I say, be thankful for what you have. Do some self-reflecting. Again, could it always be better? Yes. Could it always be worse? Yes. And, try to live life a little bit. And I would just tell you that I'm grateful. I started this YouTube channel. I started the podcast. The podcast has been working out great. I'm hoping to next year to really, ramp up on the YouTube channel and do more videos and stuff like that. And bring some content that actually is either entertaining or something that's of nature. I haven't really, like I said, done any videos lately. And, I think I just have wear and tear like the rest of us. I'm in front of a computer 8-9 hours a day as it is in a screen, outside of taking some breaks. So, roughly 9, 10, 12 hours of my day is sitting in front of a computer. And now granted, I'm fortunate enough. I've got a 38-inch widescreen, kind of curved monitor type thing. And it allows me to do multitasking, and I have the tools. It just gets old, and then to sit down and do videos for another 2, 3, 4 hours is really rough as well. So I just hate being in front of the computer for 14, 15 hours sitting on my derriere. And there's just more to life than that. And that's what I'm coming to find out, and that's the reason why I say give thanks. I'm semi-healthy as I start ratchet up the years here. And that's one of the reasons why I want to do the bike thing too, is because I won't be able to do it, as I get older. So I've got, a short window of time for me to kind of go out and enjoy some things and experience some life and see where it goes. But, so anyways, I just wanted to come on here, talk a little bit about Thanksgiving. Hopefully you and your family and friends had a great one, that you enjoyed it. Like I said, 2020 is just going to be one of these anomalies that we'll look back in history and hopefully sit there and go, wow, we made it through that stuff, with all the craziness. And it's made us stronger in some ways. It's made us weaker in others. The biggest thing I can say is we need to keep our sanity. We need to keep our humility. We need to, try to understand the stresses that's going on with everybody. Everybody just seems to be shouting down one another, and it's a sad time in some ways. Yet, I think the spirit of who we are as a country, who we are as people, will hopefully win out at the end of the day. That's what I'm hoping for, is that a little bit of our moral compass, or our just we as people get out of this mode of shouting people down and just arguing and yelling at one another for no apparent reason other than just to win, to prove a point. And opinions vary. Let's try to be open-minded. Let's give thanks, because you just never know what that other person's going through. Because the thing that you might think is silly might be the biggest thing to them. So, again, it's just about giving thanks and taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture. So, anyways, I just wanted to pop on here, say happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Really appreciate you listening, and have yourself a wonderful rest of the weekend. Basically 30 days out to a little less than 30 days out to Christmas and into our new year, and hopefully 2021 will be better. So, all right, folks. Well, you guys have a great evening, great weekend, great night. And again, you can catch me on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, and Podbean. So I really, like I said, really appreciate the support, and look forward to another episode here soon. Okay? Take care. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.